Good morning, Northeast. All right, join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Be seated. All right, Byron and Elizabeth, who are our guests. Morning. Morning. Let's give our guests a round of applause. Congratulations, Maury. All right, happy dogs. Anybody happy this morning? All right, Scott. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. And for a week, the back of the city here, and I am happy to report that I have not filled it for cloud. And I have memorialized my picture for to demonstrate the coming that. All right, as a gardener, I'm very impressed. Diana's happy.
I'm a happy dollar. I'm going to apologize in advance if she starts yelling. She has something to say, so.
That's all right. I'm just going to keep the meeting running from here. Anybody else happy this morning? All right. Well, folks, today is Bad Joke Tuesday. So, do you know where you can buy chicken broth in bulk? In bulk. The stock market. I told you I got a million of them. All right, craft feed is this Sunday at Elizabeth and Steve Wolf's house. Hopefully we'll see you there. The festivities start at 3 o'clock. And let's see, we have an announcement. Jim?
Morning, everybody. Club service wise, you haven't seen me in a while, but it has snuck up, but next week is our daily bread on Tuesday for lunch and Catholic Harvest Wednesday. We do that for the new people here. Any month that's got 5 Tuesdays or 5 Wednesdays, we serve lunch on Tuesday at our daily bread and help people load their cars with food on Wednesday. So I'll send out an email with the details, the times and the locations, but please check your calendars. And one other thing, a little early, but we're going to be helping the downtown club plant some trees in October. I think it's 12 trees, and I don't have the details. I think it's October 5th, but there again, I'll send out an email then. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So I'm going to try and get those dates out also with my weekly announcements so that if you'd like to participate, I'm hoping that we can get more of our club members involved in different activities. So there'll be a lot of opportunities, I'm sure. Our daily bread usually runs from 10:45 to about 12:15. It's a real easy gig. You just stand in front of the cafeteria line and hand out food. Wednesday night is Catholic Harvest Night. That it starts at about 5:30, I believe, and runs to about 7:15-ish, somewhere around there. And Jim is right. They're still working a pre-packed program. So the clients get their grocery shopping list. The volunteers in the afternoon fill it out, complete everything, get everything all packed up. So all we have to do is get everything on the cart and into the correct car's trunk. So that's about the hardest part. So hopefully check your calendars and see if you can help out. Scott, I think we're ready.
Thank you. Good morning again, New York East. It's my pleasure to introduce our next speaker this morning, and this will round out the economic development theme that we have had and you have heard for the last 3 weeks. If you will recall, the first speaker introduced the use of technology, Placer AI, and how small businesses can tap into that technology for business strategies and development and market growth. And you also heard about some of the public-private partnerships that are going on across York County. Some of the projects both in Hanover, Spring Grove, and in various areas throughout the county. And then last week you heard about the Economic Development Action Plan and some of the programs around the trail tags. Well, this morning we're coming in at a different angle, and it's my pleasure to introduce Suli Pinos. Suli is going to describe this morning the Bloom and Business Empowerment Center and what programs it brings to small businesses throughout the county, both from community outreach and various other aspects for capital campaigns and small business loans. And this, as you listen to the program this morning, please take note of how this program is attempting to build back the business capacity here throughout York County since the pandemic. And our guest speaker again is no stranger to York East. Suli will soon have her executive MBA from Villanova University, which is very, very impressive. And it is my pleasure to introduce Suli, who's been leading the Bloom Business Empowerment Center since 2022. And under her leadership, the portfolio has risen to $2 million. So with no more to do, I'm going to introduce Suli.
Okay. Both let's make sure this is clipped. Can everyone hear me? Is that good? Okay. All right. Okay. Wonderful. Well, good morning again. Thank you so much, Scott, for introducing me, for inviting the York County Economic Alliance team. I've been joking with the team that I have the honor of closing out our residency here at the York East. So we're either banned for the next 5 years, or maybe we'll be invited in the next few months. We'll see. But again, as Scott mentioned, I'm Suli Pinos. I've been with the York County Economic Alliance now for 8 years. 3 years in my current role with the Bloom Business Empowerment Center, and the Bloom was one of the outcomes of the Economic Action Plan. And it was about 3 years ago that Bill first reached out and invited me to come in and talk about Bloom. So everything that you're going to see in the next few slides is because of Bill. So I'd first like to give him those shout outs. And I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York. I've been in the York community now for 12 years, and hopefully in the next little bit less than a year, we'll wrap up my MBA, and we'll be saving some miles driving back and forth from Philadelphia. So. Okay, I should be here. Okay, all right, I can improvise. Okay. It is. Okay. Give me that. Hit the connect button. Do you have any other jokes, Chris, that I can share in the meantime? Okay, wonderful. Okay, I appreciate your support in advance. So So again, as I believe it was David Gonzalez that was here last week, sharing with you all updates of the economic action plan. This was the 10-year economic action plan. We are incredibly at the halfway point, but trying to level set with why I'm here to talk to you about small businesses. It was in that time in 2020 that in looking through all the data, we wanted to see where York stood in comparison to other communities across the country, across the state, in areas from workforce development, poverty and income levels, and certainly small business growth. And we saw that York County really lagged the business birth rates in compared to the state and national average. I know it's shocking, right? But in particular, when we dig deeper into looking at business birth rates when it came to women and businesses owned by individuals of color, York really lagged that opportunity. So really that just set that goal, that attainable goal for us as a collective organization, but also to support the county. How can we really pull in all of the resources that we currently have, organizations like SCORE, the Small Business Development Centers, and really come together to drive small business growth, to accelerate the launch of businesses, but also to secure that businesses not only were able to start, were able to hire local, and wouldn't have to close their doors. And certainly in 2020, when we identified this data, was at a time when businesses were closing their doors temporarily. Some did close permanently due to the pandemic. But at that time, our organization was also deploying COVID relief support, and we were able to deploy just shy of 30 million to about 2,000 businesses in an 18-month span. And many of those businesses, we're very thankful that we have the opportunity to still work with them today. So fast forwarding to 2022, Bloom launched really as that nonprofit, holistic countywide organization to provide opportunity to entrepreneurs and also individuals seeking employment, training opportunities. As part of Bloom, we oversee all of our small business development, all of our workforce development efforts for the county. We help to steer the county's workforce action plan and really bring together our school districts, our employers, our training partners, and similar in establishing the collective for small businesses. And again, as a nonprofit, we are always looking for ways to seek that investment for Bloom so that we can immediately deploy that out to our entrepreneurs. Since we've launched Bloom, I won't go into all of these line by line because we'll get to some of them in the slide. But as Bloom has launched, or now in 3 years, we are able to prove the hypothesis that an organization like Bloom was needed in the York County community. We are constantly hearing from entrepreneurs in trying to connect to resources. We're able to establish those referrals to great organizations already in the York community, and really trying to avoid any confusion for the client and the consumer. And we're also able to align the messages from all of the resources to support our small business community and also our workforce community. So again, as Bloom launched to provide that technical support, access to capital by way of grants, by way of loans, technical assistance by way of classes, boot camps, and really try to be that one-stop shop and connector, convener for individuals in York County, whether again, if they were individuals looking to start a business, individuals that already had a business, or individuals looking for that next opportunity, that next step. So again, as we're going through some of the specific programs that Bloom offers, our classes, our boot camps, these are all offered at no cost for our participants. These are classes that are offered, or educational opportunities, I should note, that are offered either in person or virtual. And the great thing about it is, again, York County is already a very resource-rich community and a county that loves to help one another. So we are not the ones doing the instruction. I should not be telling someone how to handle their finances or how to handle their construction training safety programs, but we are able to bring in great partners across the county, like the Susquehanna SCORE, like the Shippensburg SDGC, the SBA, local certified accountants, bankers, attorneys, and really bring that whole ecosystem of entrepreneurial resources together to be the ones offering the instruction. And that way, we're also providing that consumer awareness for all of our clients. Where often, someone might be clicking, searching the internet for a resource, clicks on something, thinks that they are connecting with a resource, come to find many months later, many dollars later, it's unfortunately not the resource that they were hoping for. So this, we're actually connecting them to a real life person. So if you've seen those Discover commercials where the person is calling customer service and they're talking to a real life person, we kind of like to, add to that is the type of concierge service that we aim to offer with Bloom. On the workforce development side, we work closely with Nate and the team at York Revolution to offer, also a lot of hiring that takes place, but to offer 5 hiring fairs for the York County community at Wellspan Park. Wellspan Park is an incredibly known community asset and location destination for our residents. So we're able to bring in anywhere from 20 to 30 employers at any time, community-based resource organizations, and on average, we've had about 200 attendees at each of these hiring fairs. We also have language interpretation support at these events, and as we've evolved each year, we've been trying to find what's the best time, and again, really listening to our clients. Those hiring fairs now take place in the afternoon, right after school, 3 to 6 o'clock, and that's been an incredible turnout. We're working with all of those employers, all of those career seekers, and many of those community anchor organizations like Crispus Attucks, Career Link, and really, again, trying to convene, and certainly our K-12, because we want to make sure that students are exposed to great opportunities and great careers, and the careers that we don't know about as early as they can. And certainly community members like yourselves and your own networks in able to share this information by word of mouth. So one of the biggest programs through Bloom, and one of the biggest ways that we are providing that access to capital is, as Bloom is a nonprofit, we are also what's called an emerging CDFI. And a CDFI, it stands for Community Development Finance Institution. It is a national designation by Department of Treasury that really gives us that ability to be a mission-based learner. And in us being a nonprofit mission-based learner, we are able to set our own policies and procedures to do our lending to entrepreneurs, which allows us to give access to capital for startup entrepreneurs, for entrepreneurs that may not have the credit score that they need to go to a bank and seek a loan, or may not have enough credit history or financial history to walk into a bank and say, I would like a loan for X amount to support my business. As a CDFI, we had to develop our portfolio for the first about 2 years to make the case that Bloom can handle the capacity and the workload to offer these capital opportunities. And that includes everything, again, from the classes, the grants, the loan programs, really what does that suite of services look like? Last month, we submitted our application to the federal government to hopefully receive our designation. So that just will hopefully help cement Bloom's ability to provide that support. In Pennsylvania, there are only 16 CDFIs, just to show the scale. Our footprint would focus on all of York County, as we have to date. And again, by us being able to set up those policies and procedures, we can make decisions as an organization to keep our interest rates very competitive. We mirror our interest rates to some of the state industrial development programs. So currently, our interest rates continue to be at 4.25%. And this is for startup expenses, working capital, equipment, payroll, real estate acquisition or business, and we can go anywhere from 3 years to, for real estate, we've gone as high as 15 years. So it's very individual, it's very customized, again, that concierge-based service. So this is a little outdated, just as we closed on a loan last week in Hillsburg for about $250,000 for an insurance company. So we're really just shy of that $2 million of support to small businesses across all parts of the county. And again, either startup or already established businesses. So really, if you know of any businesses that you're working with or that you specifically have a connection, if there's a need for capital, please, my ask for you is to encourage them to reach out to us at Bloom. Happy to have that conversation. Again, we're meeting with businesses of all sectors, of all backgrounds, of all stages within that business life cycle. And I just wanted to show as an industry standpoint, again, Bloom is able to support all types of businesses. The only industry, if you will, that Bloom is not engaged with, just due to the regulations, is the passive real estate. So real estate investment. If someone acquires a home and is renting out the apartments, we are not able to engage in those types of industries and capital needs. But again, a pretty broad spread. The childcare, I have a slide where I'll talk about why almost 50% of our portfolio has been in the childcare sector. Again, a very much needed industry to support in the community. And Bloom has been able to provide that support. And again, just last week, we closed a $250,000 loan in Dillsburg to support an insurance company. And this is just a snapshot of some of the logos of the businesses. Some of the logos and the companies might be familiar to you, but just sharing where currently Bloom is with its portfolio. And for the retired bankers in the room, I know this type of slide would be very interesting, but as Bloom has been able to provide wraparound services, we're very individualized concierge. We're also very proud that with all of our loans since 2022, we've had a zero default. All of our loans are performing incredibly well. One has been paid off a year and a half in advance because we also do not have a prepayment penalty. So, and we're working with the businesses if life happens and sometimes that payment can't be made. We really emphasize that communication. And since we've worked with them every step of the way, that communication is a little bit easier to follow up on. So. And then shifting over to our grants, these are micro grants. These do not need to be paid back. These have been micro grants that we've offered to businesses across all parts of York County for very specific project-based needs. If someone needs to acquire, that point of sale device, decided to just call it a day, and the business needs a new one. That's something that the business needs to continue to operate and continue to grow. If there's a training program, if there's a marketing software, a customer service software, Square, you name it, these micro grants, they go from $500 to $1,500 for small businesses that we currently offer. We just closed out our first round for businesses across the county. In the fall, in October, we'll open up our grant round for women-owned businesses across all parts of York County. If you are interested in joining us for that, there will be a live pitch competition or presentation for all of those finalists. So it's like Shark Tank meets Oprah. Just across the parking lot here at Heritage Hills in the room with all the glass windows, which I know is not called the windows room, but so that's why I have to describe it like that. Absolutely. Sure. Okay, well, thank you. So if you are interested in joining us the second Tuesday of the month, you're here for your Rotary meeting, you just decided to play a few rounds of golf, join us for lunch, for the Women's Business Center luncheon. That is where all of our finalists for the Bloom Grant will present. And the attendees will actually vote and help us decide on how the funds will be allocated. So it's a really great, exciting, also great way to end the year and see and support local small businesses in York County. With our classes, again, it's a great opportunity to showcase the great talent and the great resource network that York County already has. This is just from one of our graduations, a picture from one of our graduations. Because the businesses are investing their time, sometimes they are, we also offer dinner and childcare for our in-person classes. So the businesses are, not only spending a lot of time, they're bringing their families with us. So we always felt that at the end of the school year with Bloom, we wanted to have something where all of the businesses can celebrate all of their efforts and achievements, and also the networks that they've been able to build amongst themselves. Our topics can go anywhere from marketing to the financial management to very industry-based specifics. So we're working with one of our loan recipients that has a beauty school out by the Gabriel Brothers complex. to have a workshop for other barbers and hairstylists in that personal care sector. And again, we're not the ones sharing the message of why you need to do what, when, and why. Our loan recipient is the one that's conveying that message to the entrepreneurs and making that connection. That 49% that you saw of our loan portfolio, or as Blair pointed out, that is a large part of our portfolio, that's all been thanks to another community collaboration effort known as ECHO. Every child has opportunities to support the childcare needs of the county from a capacity standpoint, from a childcare spot, but also to support families that want to go back to work and may not be able to, or may not be able to go to work consistently because of childcare needs, and bringing their children to where they are at all times. Blooms is supporting this initiative by helping to launch childcare providers in York County. This launched last year in 2024, and to date, we've been able to help to launch 15 new childcare providers in York County. And these might be home-based providers, which means that they have space only up to 6 in a given shift. And some of these home-based providers are offering shifts as early as 4 a.m., as late as 10 p.m., which really helps to provide that support for working families. And many people may not know about that. This funding has also gone to support already established childcare centers, so centers that are registered and have stars or Keystone stars across the state, that might be in churches, might be their own brick and mortar locations. So again, Bloom has helped to launch 15 new childcare startups. When we started this partnership, we were providing these funds as a startup grant. We have since evolved that into a forgivable loan for our childcare providers to give them access to about $40,000 in startup funds. So again, we're actually meeting later this morning to finish our reviews for the first round of startup funding that we'll do for childcare providers. And we have about 10 applications, again, from all parts of the county, as far up as Conewago. You have Shrewsbury, Stewartstown, and anything in between. This, I could send this just to avoid any tech issues. This is one of our ECHO Startup Award recipients, Maricela. She is here in the Spring Garden, Spring Ferry area. She and her husband moved here from Philadelphia, Dominican Republic. Originally, she's an attorney in the Dominican Republic, and when she came here, shifted into providing support in the neighborhood, and now has received her license after her inspection a few months ago now. So she is officially up and running as a child care center and providing that across the county for many families. Okay. And again, as I shared that all of this work of Bloom is never done in a silo. Again, our purpose is to provide the best service and support to all of our clients, but that can only be done by working with many of these organizations here on the screen. I know some of you here represent some of these organizations, so thank you for what you do and for all of those connections and collaboration that you lead. But again, it's also a great way to highlight how many resources are already in York County. And by Bloom coming in and serving as that convener, we're helping to align all of these organizations into sharing the message for our entrepreneurs, but also for our workforce clients. And just, I added this one in just to note, I've talked mainly about our entrepreneurial support, but just to note about our workforce development. This was a new pilot that launched. We're currently in our second week. This is in support to our county commissioners and the county planning commission. These were funds that were made available by the state to create a construction training program to support the whole home program. If you're not familiar with that program, it's a program that the county planning commissions offer for individuals that have repair needs for their primary residence, and they may not have the income or the means to do that work themselves. So the county provides that support. For all of that support, you need a workforce that's skilled to be able to meet those demands. So we have been able to pilot this initiative. We're working closely with the York Builders Association and their Workforce Now. And again, this is a program that's offered at no cost for participants. in all in person. And if you're interested to stop by, or if you might be an employer or know of someone that might be looking for that skilled workforce with an interest in construction, all of these graduates, our first class, we have a limit of 15. In our first day, we had about 30 signups. We have a wait list of about 75 for this program, which exceeded any and all of our expectations. So we're working on finding other locations where we can offer this course at least 2 other times this year. This is offering a PAC certificate from the Home Builders Institute, carpentry, weatherization. There's a 10-hour OSHA certificate that individuals are receiving, first aid certificate, all being offered at no cost. If individuals have any barriers in seeking the equipment, whether the boots to be able to go through the training program in a safe manner, we're able to offer that. Transportation, again, childcare, any of those needs, we're working with those individuals as they're applying for this program to identify any barriers, and then open that up to the collaborative of resources across the county. So we're just in the second week for this program, and it's going really, really well. I get to go to all of the classes. I don't know if I'll ever say that I have the expertise to do any of this work, but I've appreciated going into the sessions. And open the invitation to everyone if you'd like to stop in and see the trainings take place. We're also going to have a graduation for all of the participants from these training programs when we do our Bloom class graduation. So you're all invited. November 18th will be our Bloom graduation and celebration at Keystone Kid Space in the evening, and we'll bring all of our alums of Bloom for that year, from workforce to small business and entrepreneurship. So with that, just a quick note of recapping, if you were leaving this room today to share this with someone else and want to connect with Bloom, there are endless ways to connect with Bloom, from promoting our lending programs, any of our access to capital opportunities. If you're interested in participating in any of the hiring fairs or helping at the hiring fairs, please see Nate. I know he's always recruiting. And also as a mentor for any of the entrepreneurs or the individuals that are going through any of our workforce training programs. In having that mentor opportunity, it's also a great referral to work with SCORE and be able to go through their mentorship training program. If you are really interested in coming and speaking to the classes, maybe if you're a retired banker and you're looking to engage with small businesses, we have many Bloom classes throughout the year. We're getting ready to plan out our programming for next year. If you would just like to stop in, lend some words of encouragement to our participants, or lend words of encouragement to myself and the team, as we are a small but mighty team, and we work within the network of the York County Economic Alliance to provide all of these resources across the county. So with that, I thank you very much for your attention and your time.
Does anybody have any questions
Or Bill.
So the childcare, big part of that pie chart, and certainly there's great need for that. And so I think let me go here, and as integrated in childcare, there was a lot of range of just the building, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
How do you I licensing, that I understand all the safety part of it, in terms of, let's say, ability to manage little kids and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So all of the compliance that anyone would have to go through from the state, as you pointed out, but there's also a workforce component to the ECHO initiative. So if someone is looking to open up a child care provider and is looking for that talent because they cannot do it themselves, also they don't have the regulations to do it themselves. We have a child care development associate training program that we're offering to help provide those skills and needed necessities to go into the work at the child care provider location. I will say, as we've gone through this program, we're getting a look under the hood, if you will, of the childcare sector and all of the requirements that the state needs for any of the employees, but also in the case of home-based providers, all of the individuals in that residence as well. So that's been a new learning opportunity, if you will. So if at any point someone is interested but may not be there, like, and I say there as in like ready to go through the steps, then there are coaches that we work with that will help them to get them. It could be maybe 3-month process, 6-month process, just to make sure that, you know, while someone might be passionate in providing childcare services in their community, that they also have the business acumen, but also that capability to offer that service. Yes, it has to be dedicated space, and that is what is gets inspected by Department of Human Services, and Department of Human Services will tell the interested provider exactly what they might need to do to make sure that their home is converted into a childcare adequate location. But that's also where our startup funding really comes into play, because in the case of someone looking to offer their home as a home-based provider, that often means, you know, you're opening up some walls or making sure that you have ADA compliance and space and those investments, and that you have like safe outdoor playing spaces. That all is our expenses that can be covered by our startup fund, as well as the zoning, because you're working with local municipalities for all of this. So if there's a variance that needs to be filed or just a hearing to get approved by your local municipality, those are all things that there's a great coaching team from the ECHO initiative and our startup fund that can help support that.
Are you able to access second funding?
Yes, absolutely. So our lending program is actually funded, a part of that is funded through the state. So we applied, I should know, Blue is part of the York County Economic Alliance. And as our colleagues have been here the last month, we're also the county's economic development organization. So we have the ability to work with the state to draw some of their financing programs and disperse those to businesses across the county. Our Bloom Loan Funds, a part of that is funded through the state and their SSBCI program, which is a new program through Treasury to deploy capital to emerging entrepreneurs, existing entrepreneurs. So we have about $5 million in SSBCI funds from the state to deploy out to entrepreneurs. And we're just around 2 million and now looking for other funding programs, because those funds go out, they might be at 5, 10, 15-year terms. So the return rate for us is not as quickly as our grants or other short-term loans. So we're always looking for funding to bring in and lend back out.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Sully, for the very informative presentation, and please thank your team. Let them know that they're welcome back. There is no ban in effect.
Okay, thank you. Oh, sure.
Oh, let's go back.
Okay.
All right.
Oh.
And, one more. And to thank you for your presentation. You can choose one of the books on the table. They will be given to the Children's Library at the YCEA, always get that confused, or Children's Aid Society. But thank you. All right, everybody, if there's nothing else for the good of the cause, we're adjourned. Have a good week.
Yeah, we're just.
No, no, I think it was right off of the. Thumb drive.
I don't like to save it onto the hard drive, but if you just play, it,
Well,
it's just dependable, you're good.
Maybe what, I'll just kind of place this down, but I can.
I think at the beginning, you have to